But I have to say now, dare I say it, forgive me, you're an artist, Di.
At 79, Diane Keaton finally broke her silence, and what she revealed shook Hollywood to its core. After decades of mystery, the legendary actress opened up about the one man who truly held her heart and never stayed. It wasn't just a fling or a Hollywood romance, it was a love that haunted her, shaped her, and never let her go. In a world where stars come and go, Diane's emotional confession about Al Pacino proves some love stories never die, even when they end without a goodbye. This is the truth she never told until now. Their love began quietly on the set of The Godfather in 1971. They were not yet legends. Diane was a witty, unconventional actress with a mind of her own, and Al was a mysterious talent emerging from the shadows of East Harlem. Their connection wasn't built on fame. It was something more intimate, more magnetic. In a single glance, something unspoken passed between them, an understanding neither could explain. Two people so different in upbringing, yet equally haunted. Diane Keaton had grown up in Los Angeles, raised in a conservative Catholic home. Her father, a civil engineer, her mother, a beauty pageant winner who gave up her dreams for motherhood. Diane swore early on she would never become her mother. She wouldn't sacrifice her ambition or independence for anyone. That fierce independence made her stand out in Hollywood, but it also made her vulnerable. Behind her strength was a woman, searching for a love that would stay. She didn't want something fleeting, she wanted forever. Al Pacino, on the other hand, was a child of broken beginnings. His father left when he was just 2 years old. His mother raised him alone in a small Bronx apartment, working odd jobs to keep the lights on. He was shaped by hardship, not stability. He found solace not in people, but in stories on stage, in theaters, in characters. Acting was the only thing he could commit to. Relationships, however, terrified him. Attachment felt like a trap. Loss of the only thing he ever cherished, freedom. So when Diane and Al met, it was a collision of opposites, one desperately wanting to hold on and the other only knowing how to let go. Their relationship was never loud, no red carpet displays. No paparazzi-fueled headlines. It existed quietly in the spaces between takes, in long silences and glances that said everything. Diane fell for him completely. She later admitted, "I was mad about him. He was charming, brilliant, unpredictable, and I couldn't look away." Al never confirmed much publicly, but friends and colleagues knew. They could feel it. There was something deeper than chemistry, something spiritual. Their romance was anything but conventional. It unfolded over decades, never quite ending, never fully beginning again. Diane Keaton and Al Pacino shared a love that refused to fade even when everything else did. They broke up, reunited, drifted apart, only to find their way back. And through it all, Al remained the one Diane couldn't forget. The others, Woody Allen, Warren Beatty, Mel Gibson, came and went, but Al Pacino lingered like a shadow, always present in the corners of her heart. She once said, "The Godfather trilogy was about one thing for me, Al." That simple sentence revealed everything. Diane wanted what many dream of: stability, a family, something to anchor her in a world that was always shifting. She waited patiently, sometimes painfully, for Pacino to give her that. 20 years passed, and the answer never came. Their final chance arrived in 1989 in Rome. While filming The Godfather Part 3, they stayed in the same villa. Their colleagues whispered this was it, the moment he would finally ask her to stay forever, but it was Diane who asked. She gave him a choice: marry me or let me go. Pacino said nothing. Instead, he walked away. There was no argument, no dramatic goodbye, just silence, the kind that leaves everything broken. At the same time, Diane learned her father was terminally ill. She sat in therapy, mourning a love that never truly formed and a family that was slipping away. "I kept asking for more," she said. "I wanted him to love me the way I loved him. But he couldn't, and sometimes the deepest heartbreak is loving someone so much that it drives them further away." After that, she never dated publicly again. In her 50s, she adopted 2 children and built a life on her own terms. She became one of Hollywood's most respected actresses, an Oscar winner, a director, an icon. She embraced solitude not as a compromise but as a choice. When asked if she regretted not marrying, she said, "I'm glad I didn't. I don't think it would have worked." Al Pacino never married either. He had 4 children with 3 different women. His longest relationship with Beverly D'Angelo gave him twins. The others faded like scenes in an unfinished movie. He remained elusive, floating between relationships but never settling. In an interview, he once said, "I avoid doors that might lead to pain." A simple sentence, yet it revealed so much. He wasn't incapable of love, he was afraid of it. Diane and Al continued their lives separately, but they never truly let go of each other. In 2017, at Diane Keaton's American Film Institute Lifetime Achievement Awards ceremony, Al Pacino took the stage. Decades had passed, but something in his voice cracked with memory. He spoke not of awards, but of small moments, her laughter before interviews, their time in Rome, the quiet intimacy only they shared. And then he said, "I love you forever." Diane didn't cry perhaps because she had already cried all the tears she could, or maybe after all these years, hearing it even if too late was enough. Their love didn't need a wedding or a house full of children to be real. It was real in the way they never stopped speaking about each other with reverence. He once called her the most surprising woman he had ever known. She called him the most beautiful face she had ever seen. Some loves don't require permanence. Some heartbreaks never fully heal. But sometimes friendship becomes the last sacred space where love can live without hurting anyone. Their story isn't about failure, it's about choice. Diane chose peace over chasing. Al chose freedom over fear. But only one of them sat in a therapist's office mourning a future that never came. And only one, years later, stood before a room full of people and confessed, "I love you forever." Maybe they were never meant to last. Not every love story ends with forever. Sometimes the ones that shape us the most are the ones that never quite settle, never quite stay. Diane Keaton and Al Pacino were never a typical Hollywood couple. Their love wasn't a whirlwind romance splashed across tabloids or sealed with a red carpet kiss. It was quieter, deeper, and far more complicated, a story not of happy endings, but of enduring impact. Some people come into our lives not to stay, but to reflect something back to us, our fears, our desires, our deepest wounds. That's what Diane and Al were to each other. It was a painful recognition that wanting love doesn't always mean you're ready for it, especially when the person you love can't meet you halfway. For Pacino, the fear of losing himself was too great. He lived in a world where freedom was survival and commitment felt like a threat, not a comfort. Despite their differences, their bond never broke, it evolved. They were no longer lovers, but not just friends either. They became something else, a connection that defied definition, rooted in mutual respect, history, and something resembling love, even if it had changed form. Their story reminds us that some love stories don't end with vows or rings. Some aren't even stories in the traditional sense. They're chapters in our lives that linger, that teach us, that leave a mark so deep time can't erase it. And though they let each other go, they never truly said goodbye because some love lives on even without a name. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join us for more untold Hollywood stories, emotional journeys, and legendary love affairs. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment that truly matters.